today we're going to make this a soup. It's a roasted corn soup with huitlacoche, mushrooms, and summer vegetables. And can you see that? So that's how we spell it. You'll either see it with a C or you'll see it with an H. All right, huitlacoche. And what this is it's made from the inside. Sorry about my dog. He's gonna probably bark for a little bit. It's made from the inside of the corn husk. It's grown in Mexico. So when the weather gets really wet in Mexico, sometimes the corn over ripens and a fungus forms. And this fungus gets inside the kernels. And the kernels go from yellow to black. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when I pour it out. Sorry about my dog. All right, almost there. What happens when you're live at home? It's gonna happen to you when you're cooking and your family walks in. All right, so I'm gonna take this, discard it, then I'm gonna show you this. That's what it looks like. Check this out. It's black. This is actually the kernels from the corn that like a mushroom or a mushroom type has developed. They call it a corn mushroom, right? And it's actually the kernels that have fermented and it becomes black. And they use this in a salsa. Or what I did was one day I was cooking at the hotel that I was working in, the restaurant was called Las Canarias in San Antonio. And we were doing an event with for Frida Kahlo and Diego Gonzalez's granddaughter, which was Frida Kahlo's husband. The granddaughter came, she has a cookbook, and she did a soup that was made with squash blossoms and vegetables. And I said, you know, if you add huitlacoche to the soup, it'll become black. So we worked together on this recipe. And it became one of my best recipes that I've ever created. It's been in many magazines, and it's just something that has a real earthy flavor. It's fun because when you serve it, it's a black soup, which is really kind of cool. So let's get started. All right. First, I turn my oven on with my stove. All right, so I'm over here. And I'm going to add olive oil into my pot. If you notice, the pot that I'm using is it's a cast iron pot that has enamel around it, and it's called a marmite. Can you see that? Yeah. All right. So we're going to let that heat up, and then I'm going to show you some of the vegetables I have here. I have some zucchini and yellow squash, right? And then I have onions. And this soup is going to go fast because all of these items that I cut up, there's some mushrooms. These are cremini mushrooms that have been sliced. And we're just going to start by sauteing By the way, I'm using an induction stove. So I went from it being off to when I just turned it on about a minute ago. Look how hot that got. This is because we're using not heat to conduct this, we're using a magnetic field. And so this magnetic field from the bottom of your pot to the actual induction stove combined together, right? Just like this. The bottom touches the top, and that's what heats up the product in your pan. You can boil water within 30 seconds, right? So we're going to saute this. This is a very simple soup, but you'll see how fun it is because it's so tasty. I'm going to add some onions. Okay. So now I have my zucchini and I have some diced onions. The zucchini is cut a quarter by about 1/8 of an inch, which is called a paysan cut. You're going to learn about these French cuts when you go and you come to our school. We're going to teach you all different kinds of vegetable cuts. All right, I'm going to add some peppers. These are red peppers. I had them. They were extra. So I figured I'd put them in there today. It's not in the recipe, but you certainly can put some red peppers for more color. And then I have some chopped jalapenos. Can you see that? Let's switch over to the camera. I got chopped jalapenos and scallions. That's an extra item that I had. And I wanted to show you, yes, the recipe that I'm doing, you can follow it exact. It's a good guide, but feel free to put other vegetables in your recipe because this is a fun vegetable soup, right? So I'm going to add my mushrooms now. And I'm going to get this really cooking. Such a simple soup. And the beauty of the soup is it cooks very fast. Not one of these soups that you got to cook for hours. You can simmer it up to 45 minutes, or you can even have it after 10 or 15 minutes. It's really that good. Okay, so next I have here poblano peppers. So what I did with these poblano peppers is I roasted them, which we're going to show you how to do that in school. We roast them, we put them on either directly on a gas stove, which I don't have. So I put the whole pepper under a broiler. And I broiled them until they were black on all the sides, and then I took the skin off, took the seeds out, and cut them up in strips. This is what's going to give the soup a little spice. That's one poblano pepper. That's all you need. As you can see, look how colorful that is. That's what makes this soup so wonderful. The colors. All right, and so I have one thing that I wanted to tell you about. This soup I originally made with squash blossoms. So you can show me this way. So I made this soup with squash blossoms, but squash blossoms are not really in season anymore. So what I got, and I didn't put it in a recipe because I figured I didn't want you to go out and try to find squash blossoms. But you could use any kind of additional leaf vegetable. In this case, I have some bok choy that I chopped up. So as you can see, you can really get creative. You want to put cabbage in the soup? Go ahead. You want to put bok choy in the soup? Go ahead. You can add different herbs to it. Like I'm going to put cilantro today, but if you want to put cilantro and chopped parsley, go right ahead. So I'm going to add this to it. All I did was slice this up. And look how beautiful that is. It's so simple. Just amazing. The nice flavors that you have. And all right, so next, yesterday I roasted some corn. So what I did was I put it in the oven, 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I cooked it on all the sides. And so it cooks inside the husk. And then I peeled them, and this is what I got. Check that out. So while that's cooking, I'm going to move the camera to my cutting board. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Chef, we have a question, if you're able to take a question.
Yes.
Would you be able to grill the vegetables instead of cook them to get that smoky flavor infused into the soup?
I've never done that before, but I have a feeling that if you did that, it would be a different flavor and it would be just fine. I don't see anything wrong with doing that.
Okay, and then where do you find the corn?
What's that?
Where do you find the corn?
Oh, at any supermarket. This is corn season right now. So, yeah. All right, so I'm going to show you how to take this off the husk. Use the flat, there's a pointed side and a flat side. Take your pointed side, your flat side, put it on a cutting board so it doesn't slip, and just cut down. And the kernels come right off. And don't throw away your cob. I'm going to show you what you're going to do with that. Oh yeah, we're going to use this cob. So, see the cob? Right in the pot. Because it's going to add flavor when we add our stuff. So we have our cob. We're cooking it down. Like this. Oh yeah. And then we're going to just run our knife through it softly. Just to break it up a little bit, because it's nice to have, if the corn sticks together, it's kind of nice to put that on a spoon. So you don't want to break it all up into little pieces. You're going to throw that, put that right into the pot. And I'm going to get there in a second. Show you. All right. All right. Okay, so here comes the fun part. I have some cilantro right here. This is fresh cilantro that I washed. So I'm going to save a couple flowers for later. And then let me clean my cutting board off. Very important to be clean. All right. Clean my cutting board off. Now, if I was using chicken, or if I was using any kind of protein, I would have to wash my cutting board, because I'm going from vegetable to vegetable, I'm all right. So you're just gonna rough slice the leaves off, not the stems, but just the leaves. And again, I don't wanna chop the heck out of this. I'm not really interested in doing that. I just wanna get it enough to where I'm letting the oils from the cilantro, some people call this Mexican parsley, right? Just cut it, pop it into your pot. All right, I'm gonna stir that around, and then I'm gonna move my camera so you can see all these pretty colors that are in here. There. Let's see. Almost there. Can you see that? Oh yeah. Okay. So now we have all these vegetables sauteed, and they're doing really well. And here comes the fun part. Now watch this. I'm going to take that huitlacoche, remember? And I'm going to add it to the soup. Once the vegetables have wilted, right? I call them pliable. They're not cooked through, but they're soft. I'm going to add my corn mushroom into the soup, into the vegetables. And it's going to turn it black. And I just want to coat it really nicely. Just like this. Oh, yeah. This is nice. You want it to heat up a little bit. Just like that. Oh, this is really nice. This is going to be delicious. All right. the next thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna add a little bit of salt to taste. Now, start out with a little bit because you can't take it out once you put it in. Right? So a little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper, like a pinch each. And now you have all your vegetables, and now you're gonna add about a pint and a half to two, about a pint and a half of chicken stock. Now, if you don't want to make chicken stock, you could surely use chicken broth from the store, but I recommend that you use broth that has no salt. And the chicken stock is boiling so fast because the chicken stock was hot when I added it. I didn't add cold stock into a hot soup. I added hot stock into a hot soup, and we're going to teach you a lot about those types of scientific reasons why you add hot food to hot product instead of cold to hot. And when you can add cold to hot or hot to hot. Very important in cooking, because cooking actually is a science. So now you have a nice simmer. You have your salt, you have your pepper, you have your cilantro in it. You have so you see it's all seasoned very, very nicely. All right, and then I'm going to show you one more thing before we go to the next step, which is going to be plating. And you're going to say, Chef, you're going to cook the soup really quick. Yeah, you can try this soup in different stages. You can cook it for 5 to 10 minutes, or you can cook it for 45 minutes. It depends on how soft you want your vegetable, right? But you can see it's simmering nice. And this stove really works well because, as you can see, I can manipulate boiling and simmering faster than you could ever do with a gas stove. You know, everybody says, "Oh, I want a gas stove. Oh, I want a gas stove. Oh, I want a gas stove." But you know, with a gas stove, you got to clean it all the time, right? With a induction top, you just wipe it down with a wet towel, and that's it. It's done. And then you can spray it with, you know, cleaning sprays and just get a nice mirror finish. You can show the camera over here. I'm going to take these tortillas, all right, and I'm just going to cut them up. All right, and I'm going to switch my pots over. I'm going to show you really quick how to saute some tortillas for garnish. Just like I said, we're almost done. That's how quick this soup works. All right, so I'm going to cut these tortillas, and I'm going to make little croutons out of them. I mean, how fun is that? So I'm going to make little vegetable croutons out of my, little starch croutons out of my my tortillas. So I'm going to just take these and I'm going to dice them. Watch. These are corn tortillas. Flour tortillas. You can use corn tortillas if you like. That's up to you. Today I had flour, so I said, okay, I'm going to use flour. But I've used corn, either one. And so I'm just going to slice with my knife. Then I'm going to turn them. I'm going to slice again. Make a nice dice of the tortillas, and then I'm going to use this as a garnish inside my soup. I mean, how fun and simple is that? And you don't have to put, bread and everything. This is the type of bread, but it's a tortilla. That's kind of cool. All right. So I'm going to add a little olive oil to my pan. Nice and hot. Okay. And then I'm going to get my strainer out because it can go very fast. All right, let me show you on the stove where we're at. Okay, let's see. Here, I got it smoking a little bit. Pop my croutons in there. Look at that. I mean, look how fast you can manipulate your stove. So much fun. Instead of waiting 10 minutes every time when you're working with gas. Gas is the best, right? We use that in professional kitchens all the time. But an induction stove, they use that on cruise ships. They use electric ovens and they use induction tops so that there's no fire that can go on, right? You wouldn't want to have gas on a cruise ship. That would be pretty dangerous, right? So as you can see, we're almost there. I mean, these are nice little crispy croutons. They have nice color on them. You can color them a little more if you want, right? But that's it. They're cooked really nice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take them out. Now, if I take my bowl, believe it or not, and I put it right here, guess what? It won't get hot. Why? Because there's no magnet in that bowl. How cool is that? Take a strainer, drain the excess oil out, right? And you can even add a little salt to this if you want, just to give it a little more flavor, or you can leave it without salt, right? Let's just put a little pinch, just a little bit. That's it. Now you got really nice croutons, tortilla croutons. You can even use this in a Caesar salad. You wanted to make like a Southwestern Caesar salad. All right, so one other thing that I want to show you that's really important in cooking is when we are making stocks, soups, and sauces, we do this thing where we say, we're going to skim off the excess grease. All right, so you can see in the soup there's a little bit of fat here and excess grease. So we're going to skim that with our ladle, putting the ladle on the side and skimming it off. That's called skimming the scum, believe it or not. Now, remember I have my corn husk in there. And what that corn husk is doing is adding flavor to the soup. That's what it's doing, right? Because the actual husk has a lot of flavor in the soup. I'm going to mix that around, make sure the bottom, right, is not sticking. Really important. So I roll that around. Make sure that the bottom is not sticking. And we are ready. I'm going to taste it. See if I have to adjust the seasoning. Now remember, I have pepper because I used poblano peppers in here. A little bit more salt. Yep, a little bit more. And then I want to put a little more black pepper in there. Okay. No double dipping when it comes to using your spoon, by the way. All right, so that's got good salt, good pepper. Very nice. All right, so we're ready to plate. As you can see, this soup doesn't take that long. It's kind of awesome. So let me just clean off my area a little bit, get a little organized. And then I'm going to plate up my soup first. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. All right. So if you see this bowl that I'm using, this is a small like onion soup crock. You can use a bowl like this or a regular soup bowl. I like this because I can get in there and it's easier to lift up the vegetables. That's why I like to use an onion soup crock. There's another kind of onion soup crock that you can use, and it's a brown one. This is classic. This is more modern. Classic, modern, classic, modern. So I'm gonna use the white one because we got a black soup. So we want some contrast, right? Good contrast, the colors and things like that, that's good. All right. All right, so I'm gonna ladle my soup in here. Make sure I get some nice broth. All right. Okay. And then I'm gonna place it on my plate with an underliner. Just like that. And then I'm gonna garnish with the tortilla croutons. Don't be shy, and really, those crunch really makes that soup. But I serve it right away when you put the croutons in. And then you can put a few leaves on top. Right? I like to do them in threes. Everything in threes. And that's what you have. This is a roasted corn Huitlacoche mushroom vegetable soup.